Hey everyone, Coach Gabe and Coach Aaron here from Ortus Academy. And I just read an article this morning from CNBC that said 64% of millennials regret buying their home. Now, I'm a millennial, you're a millennial,
Yep.
right? Neither of us have purchased our first homes yet, and it really made me stop in our tracks. We do a lot of really good teaching on real estate investing as a net worth and wealth driving vehicle, but that is a very different discussion from you buying your own primary residence for the sake of your lifestyle. So where do you begin thinking about, should somebody buy a home right now in this crazy market, or is it worth waiting?
It's definitely worth debating, right? Somewhere in the middle.
Nice rhyme.
I tried. The conversation around housing right now is difficult because everything's inflated and people are making very fast choices. So if you are in the hunt for a home, you're probably doing this, right? You're finding a property and you're like, wow, I love this home, I love this home. And then all of a sudden it's swept away for an extra 40 grand aside from the listing price, and that happened in 24 hours. So I was at a wedding this past weekend, and friends were very emotional because the dream home that they thought they had got swept away.
Really?
And what that means, one, from an emotional perspective, is that many people are making home purchases fast, right? When the emotion flares up, they make it fast. We got to make this choice right away because it's going to get swept away. Put an extra 50 grand on it. And when we make fast emotional choices, we tend to make mistakes.
Yeah, that's really well said. There's so many reasons that are playing into why the current housing market is so inflated, right? A big one is the supply is really small because of the moratoriums and the eviction things. Also, another big one is that so many people are working from home now, and like, who wants to be cooped up in a tiny little apartment, right? If the foreseeable future, our home becomes our office, it becomes our place of, like where we're raising a family, things like that, right? So it's really important to go through the process of why are you buying a home, right? Is it for an investment purpose? Is it to get more space to work? Is it because you just, you're sick of where you've been and you feel like you need a drastic life change right now? Any one of those are good reasons in and of themselves, or in combination. But what's not good, which is what you said, is if you're making impulsive decisions without having a clear understanding as to why.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about the B word real quick. This is a good time to budget and plan. If you are very quickly making an offer on a home and you're throwing an extra $40,000, $50,000 down, it might not feel like a lot because it's spread out over long payments, but it's really important to know your limits. And anytime you go to buy a home, this has been my experience, been friends' experiences, the lender will get all kinds of information on your income, and they'll tell you what amount of loan they're willing to give you, not what you can afford. They will tell you what kind of loan you qualify for. So they might take, a $75,000 income between two people and say that you can afford a $700,000 house. And if you break down your budget, it will absolutely destroy your finances to spend that much on a home. And when you go to buy a home, there's all kinds of extra expenses that go in, all kinds of costs, insurance, closing, that you have to be prepared for. And it's really important to get educated before you go making those sizable purchases.
I'll throw out two good rules of thumb when it comes to home buying. One, a lot of people say that if you're going to buy a primary residence, if you're not planning to stay there for at least 5 years, there's a good chance that you'll actually lose money, right? Obviously, we could talk at length about the financial benefits of investing in a home for the long run, right? Tons of benefits. You're not paying rent. You're putting money towards your mortgage, right? You're accruing assets and net worth. But the closing costs are really high. And then what you mentioned, there's a lot of hidden costs with maintenance and trying to get the property, to be up to your dream status and whatnot. So first rule of thumb is, if you're going to buy a house for yourself, at least plan on staying there for 5 years. The second one, which is a great strategy as well, and maybe a solution to even if you're not planning on staying for 5 years, is to keep the property as a rental, right? You could buy a home, move out in a year, don't sell it, keep it as a rental, and then you can have a tenant pay down your mortgage, pay down your, contribute to your net worth and retirement through that housing vehicle for you.
Yeah, I think that's really important to share. And for those of you that think that may be an overwhelming amount of work, it doesn't have to be. There are lots of ways to do this. We've got a great course on real estate investing if you want to learn about it. But for the interim, just consider this. Buying a primary residence is going to take a tremendous amount of resources, and right now, a tremendous amount of searching because there's such low supply. And when you get into that game, it can be very emotional. So it's very important that you have a plan. Just taking a bit of time with a partner, a spouse, a friend, whoever you're going to be living with, and making a plan for your finances, doing a little bit of research on closing costs, what kind of maintenance you may need to do. We always have to furnish the room, so we always have all these extra expenses because we don't like an empty room in a new house. It's just important to pause. And our advocacy here, Gabe's rule of thumb, are really important to take and write down and notate, so that you don't end up making some of the mistakes that many are making right now, where they're overspending on a home, they're not prepared for what's coming, and regardless of the long-term status of that home and the value of the home, the finances, the purchase price is not going to change as long as you own that home. So it's very important to get that right when you make your home purchase decision.
If you'd like to learn more, we're starting up a really, really excellent real estate cohort. Now, I mentioned we haven't bought our first houses yet. We're more renters, entrepreneurial nomad types.
And waiting for this bubble
to
totally change.
But we've partnered with a really, really excellent long-term investor, this guy named Ben Lyons, who's been in the industry for 37 years. As he's owned over 450 rental properties. He's also a lender who's literally lent $6 billion worth of money, or his organizations have lent $6 billion worth of mortgages. So don't take it from us, take it from Ben. Now, if you're not interested in learning about real estate, definitely take Aaron's advice about still make a plan, be really intentional before you make a home purchase. Can be a great move if it's done right. If you are interested in learning more about real estate investing as a wealth building vehicle over time, reach out to us. We'll put some information below. It's a really, really great opportunity.
Yeah, and we're going to keep sending you these wellness pearls. Housing is a big one. We've got a lot of other topics we're going to talk about. Hopefully you've been enjoying these, but you'll get more coming in your inbox very, very soon. Thanks for joining. Coach Gabe, rocked it.
No doubt.
See you guys very soon.